Back with our roundtable, plus our special guest, another seat at the table, Matt Bai, political columnist for Yahoo News, whose column debuted this week with an exclusive interview with Christie. We'll get to that in a minute. But first, I want to look at the stunning fall of another former Republican governor, Bob McDonnell, who, along with his wife, was indicted this week for violating federal corruption laws. The details of the indictment were shocking. Take a look at this list. Allegations they traded political favors and access for gifts and loans from a wealthy supporter, including a $20,000 shopping spree, a Rolex watch, use of a Ferrari, and even help paying for their daughter's wedding. This week, the former governor defended himself and pleaded not guilty.
I will use every available resource and advocate that I have for as long as it takes to fight and prevail against these false allegations and the unjust overreach of the federal government.
Okay, Greta, he may or may not be guilty. He'll have his day in court. But how, in this day and age, does a political leader think he can get away with accepting gifts like that from a supporter?
Okay, you read that and you think that he's toast. It is a horrible indictment. One-sided. It's got Ferrari, Rolex, everything about you. Just hate the first family, former first family of Virginia. But here's the tip. We read in the Washington Post that they were offered one felony to get rid of, the 28 counts indictment. And if he accepted one felony, 14 counts of hers would go away. She'd walk away from it, and 13 of his. That's the most fantastic plea offer ever.
And he turned it down.
Yes, but here's the trick. The only reason that a prosecutor gives you that kind of fantastic deal, especially in Virginia, is because they have a weak case. The quid pro quo is weak. Otherwise, they'd never give you a deal like that.
But I got to ask you, Senator Santorum, because you're a guy. I mean, you served in Congress, you served in the Senate. Did you have people coming up offering you this kind of stuff? And what would you do if somebody offered you a little spin in the Ferrari?
No, I mean,
really?
I'm actually
insulted.
I'm stunned. I don't know how you could think you could take any of this. I mean, right. Even if there is no quid pro quo, and maybe that's the law in Virginia. You're allowed to accept gifts, and that's okay. But it's not okay. Right. I mean, even if
that's a different issue. That's the ethics. That's disgusting and gross. But whether he goes to prison.
But the senator is making a really important point. It's just not okay. And in fact, in Congress, when he was there, they changed the rules on all of this because people would say in Congress, "Oh, well, you know, he's my friend taking me to dinner," and then you'd say to them, "Well, do you ever take him to dinner?" Because you know that's what friends do. They go back and forth. Well, no, actually, it's all one-sided. And when you said that to a member of Congress, they got it. Right. They got it right away. And they changed the rules to make it against the ethics rules.
This is a bigger problem, though. It's a bigger problem for Republicans. It's a bigger problem for the country. When the shutdown was going on, all you heard was, well, we may have some wacko birds in the Republican Party in Congress, but look at our great governors. Now look at the governors. You've got Christie, who's now not worried about the.
You're not going to compare Christie to Bob McDonnell.
Sure. Let me finish. Let me make my point. Yes, actually, I am. You've got. I am. You've got McDonnell, who's now under criminal indictment, and you've got a criminal investigation under Christie. So the Republican Party has a problem. Because if you look at what's going on now, some of their leading stars, McDonnell was a leading light to be a presidential candidate. He might be in prison. Christie has to worry more about the court of law than the court of public opinion. And I think the Republican Party is going to have a challenge now.
You know what? I think you're right, Vance. I think Vance's right because it rattles the Republican Party and it's a distraction. So I think it actually hurts the public.
But Matt Bai's the one guy who sat down with Christie, the only one to do so, only national reporter since that press conference, the famous press conference. What's your take?
You know, I think looking at 2016, I mean, I asked him specifically, right, about 2016, and he said, I reminded him, he said he wasn't ready when we talked about it in 2011. He said, I'm readier. I'm thinking about it. And then you think, well, how can that be in a week where you're seeing your poll numbers plummet, in a week where you're seeing this kind of controversy? He said something interesting to me. Governor Christie said, you know, for all the reasons that I've had such an awful week, and this has been all over the news, and they've, you know, it's been the lead story everywhere. I have more time. I have the luxury of time in making a decision about 2016. And what he means by that is he's a well enough known national figure, right? The cable news networks are going to carry his State of the State address.
The MID is not going to be a problem, but doesn't he think this has hurt him? I mean,
come on.
Oh, I'm sure he knows it's hurt him.
And telling you he learned lessons, but he wasn't sure what they were.
Yeah, I mean, he's too smart to know it hasn't hurt him. But he's also smart enough to know. I would say, you know, we don't know what revelations are coming. This thing is all contingent on what else there is in these investigations. But these poll numbers move around. We're very early.
I'll tell you what's not going to move around. He's got four things. He's got four things he's got to do at the same time. He has to be born on Krypton to do all four well. He's got to run the state of New Jersey. He's got to run the Republican Government Association. He's got to run for president and deal with these investigations. He's got to be born on Krypton to do all four things well.
You know what the bigger problem for the Republicans is libido. Mike Huckabee talking about women's libido and birth control is a much bigger
He stole the show
problem.
at the Republican meeting.
And that's a vote they can't
But on
lose.
2016, I've got to show you this poll. Okay, now 2016 polls are a little ridiculous this far out. But take a look at the leaders here. 13, 12, 11%. This is the first time that we've had a Republican nomination contest where there is absolutely nobody that can lay claim to the title frontrunner. Now,
Rick Santorum
may try right now, but I mean,
someone did win 11 states in the last primary election cycle, and
well said.
Look, I think that's a good thing. I mean, we have on the other side the anointed candidate, and that's going to be a problem for them in the long term. I guarantee you that's going to be a problem because there'll be with Hillary Clinton, there'll be a focus on her, and it'll be death by 1,000 cuts over the next 3 years. On the Republican side, the Democrats have a big disadvantage. They have no one to shoot their guns at. I mean, they'll shoot at Christie for now, but I'm someone who in July of 2011. There were 6 leaders in Iowa between July of 2011 and January of 2012. Yeah. That's not a bad thing for the Republican Party to sort of sort this out.
You're saying the primary that you guys went through was a good thing for your party last time? It was good for our party.
It would have been better had we had
they're trying to do everything they can to avoid a
different result. No, it's not a bad thing for there to be.
Senator, I disagree with you when it comes to the Democrats and Hillary Clinton right now. You're seeing some very interesting dynamics. First of all, the new establishment, the Obama establishment, Priorities USA, has already moved into the Hillary Clinton camp. So you have both of the Democratic old establishment, new establishment united. It opens up the door for some populists, but here's what's going to happen to you guys. Whoever gets your nomination is going to have to run against 4 of us. Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Obama, and Michelle Obama. 4
All right. Well, it's also a lot of targets. I think you might welcome that. But look, we had 2 cover stories on Hillary Clinton this week, including this kind of creepy one in the New York Times Magazine showing Planet Hillary. But Cokie, can the Democrats really avoid a primary? Is that really? I mean, we've never seen this happen before.
No, they won't avoid a primary. There'll be a primary, but that might be a big benefit to her if she can do very well in primaries and show that she is a winner. But I'm not 100% sure that Hillary Clinton's going to run. I think she's not 100% sure that she's going to run, and it's going to be interesting to see if somebody who's young and with new ideas and all of that can rise up. I don't know who that would be.
But, it's O'Malley, Governor O'Malley, because I'm not convinced Hillary's going to run either. I'm not convinced at all because remember in 2008 how convinced we all were that she was going to win. And I think that when you look at these poll numbers and see how dissatisfied people are, I think that the old guard, the regulars,
hard for her not to run.
I will say, and I'm not big on predictions, she cannot clear the field and she cannot run with just token opposition. Everything we know about modern politics and the modern presidential process flies in the face of that. We don't live in that world anymore. Just being the front runner creates serious opposition.
Governor Schweitzer is coming on strong. Just putting together, frankly, the new establishment, the old establishment together only gives you about half the party. The other half is looking for a populist dark horse. I put my money on Governor Schweitzer.
Okay, and plus he's running against Obama. He's running against President Obama, a Democrat running against President Obama's record.
Conservative on some issues. Thank you very much.